Some Austin ISD campuses enjoy disproportionate advantages due to wealthy, well-connected parents who are able to bring significant outside funding and resources to their schools. Are there any steps you would take as a trustee to try to address the resulting inequities between campuses?
So this is an enduring structural problem that collides with, for lack of a better word, American individualistic ideals, right? So what you have is folks saying, I got mine, I earned mine, I should be allowed to spend how I want. And it's hard to point out how that produces an inequity and then divert to another path. A simplistic thing that is only a structural intervention. It does not affect the structural transformation. A simplistic thing that we can do, and that I will be doing, is, and this is I've kind of argued with some folks over this, and some won't like it, but I think in the end we'll love it. I'm going to actually continue fundraising on a low level throughout this campaign and beyond, so that we can see recurring investment in our local schools in District 3. All right. Because I need to do something as a stopgap to provide some additional supports to counter or to keep up, as some of our other schools raise tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars for their projects. So an inadequate, because it buys too much into our capitalist framework, an inadequate but necessary stopgap is actually to keep raising funds from and within our community to invest in our local PTAs in District 3. It's not satisfactory, though. I don't like this approach, but I don't have a better one, and I know that my schools need additional supports. Beyond that, we should have an equity lens that has us look at our schools and actually measure the inequities that are produced through this disparate approach to funding. And at some point, we need to be developing the arguments, legal arguments and otherwise, to start saying, you know what? To go to this school systematically means that you will have this much more available to the child than in this school. And that has nothing to do with the child. The child is going to go in, and by the fact of going to this school, their dollar for dollar, the education value is going to be $17,000 a year, because we can measure it and you find a way to measure it. And over here, it's going to be $7,000 a year. And start to demonstrate concretely the inequities and start to build up the argument for legal interventions in the way we have chosen to structure our funding.
When you talk about the redistribution or just the equitable distribution of resources, specifically funds, you probably will encounter pushback from entrenched power systems and institutions, some of which are still present and will still be present on the board, and some might be elected to the board. How do you plan to work with trustees and community members who are reluctant to equitably fund our school system?
So nobody's going to say they're reluctant to equitably fund our school systems. What people will say is, I want it equitably funded, and they'll be operating under different definitions. So one of the first things we need to do is step back and develop a shared understanding of what we mean by equity, and then build upon that. I'm a little more optimistic than some in that I think that we are in a historic moment where more people have their eyes opened wider to what's going wrong. More people are looking for healing. More people are looking for opportunities to pitch into healing. West, east, north, south, there are people across our city, across our municipality, who just to the depths of their heart want things to be better than they are now. So I won't proceed with an assumption that folks will want something inequitable. I will proceed with the assumption that they want equity, but we don't yet share a definition. And so what we need to do is get to the shared definition and build from there.